Hello, welcome back, sparrows. I had to have a pineapple costume adjustment, so I now have tissue paper instead of the bag, and I think that will do. I may lose it again, but that's okay. Welcome back to Pippi. In this episode, she meets the police. It's one of my favorite chapters. So, are you sitting comfortably? Do you have your daydream wishes? Do you have your daydream wishes? Do you have your tea? Are you in a comfy spot? I'm in my comfy spot in the nest. Have a little sip. Okay, we are ready to begin. So, here we are. What is that Pippi going to get up to next? I have my reading glasses on. I have my storytelling wish somewhere. Here it is. My storytelling wish. And let's blow our wishes out of the window. There's our lovely wishes for everyone around the world where they also share stories in their nests. So here we go. It soon became known throughout the little town that a 9-year-old girl was living all by herself. And all the ladies and gentlemen in the town thought that all children must go to school to have someone to advise them and to learn the multiplication tables. And so the ladies and gentlemen decided that the little girl in Villa Vellicula must immediately be placed in a children's home. Dun, 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 dun. You can imagine what Pippi is going to think of that. So one lovely afternoon, Pippi had invited Tommy and Annika over for an afternoon coffee and pepparkakor. Am I saying that better? That's Swedish cookies. Who knows? If you speak Swedish, I would love to know how to say that word properly. She had spread the party out in the front steps, and it was so sunny and beautiful there. The air was filled with the fragrance of Pippi's garden flowers. How beautiful. Mr. Nielsen climbed around on the porch railing, and every now and then the porch horse, stuck his head out so that he'd be invited to have a cookie. "Oh, isn't it glorious to be alive?" said Pippi, stretching out her legs as far as she could reach. And just at that moment, who came through the gate? Two police officers in full uniform. "Hooray!" said Pippi. "Hooray, hooray, hooray! This must be my lucky day. Policemen are the very best things, you know, next to rhubarb pudding." And with her face beaming, she went to meet them.
"Hello, hello, 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 hello. Is this the little girl who's moved into Villa Vellicula?"
asked one of the policemen. "Well, quite contrary," said Pippi. "This is a tiny little auntie who lives on the 3rd floor at the other end of town." She said that only because she wanted to have a little fun with the policemen, but they did not think that that was funny at all. They said she shouldn't have been such a smarty pants. And then they went on to tell her that some nice people in the town were arranging for her to get into a children's home. "Well, I already have a children's home," said Pippi.
"What?"
asked one of the policemen.
"Has it already been arranged then? What children's home?"
"Well, this one," said Pippi. "I am a child, and this is my home, and therefore it is a children's home, and I have room enough here, and plenty of room, so it is the most perfect children's home that any child could live in."
"Dear child,"
said the policeman,
You don't understand. You must get into a real children's home and have someone proper look after you.
Is one allowed to bring one's horses to children's homes? Said Pippi.
Well, of course not,
said the policeman. Well, that's what I thought, said Pippi sadly. And what about monkeys?
Well, of course not. You ought to realise that.
Well then, said Pippi, you'll have to get kids for your children's home somewhere else. I certainly do not intend to move there without my friend Mr. Nielsen and my porch horse. But you don't understand that you must go to school, young lady.
Well, why? Well, to learn things, of course.
Well, what sort of things? Said Pippi.
Well, all sorts, said the policeman. Lots of useful things. The multiplication tables, for instance.
Well, I have got along fine without any multiplication tables for 9 years, said Pippi, and I guess I'll get along without them from now on too.
Well, yes, but just think how embarrassing it will be for you to be so ignorant, said the policeman. Imagine when you grow up and somebody asks you what the capital of Portugal is and you can't answer.
Well, woo! Well, woo, said Pippi. I can answer all right. I'll answer like this. If you are so bound and determined to find out what the capital of Portugal is, then for goodness sakes, write directly to Portugal and ask directly.
Well, yes,
but don't you think that you would be sorry that you did not know yourself? Said the policeman. Probably not. No doubt I should lie awake at nights and wonder and wonder. Maybe I would wonder and wonder. Maybe I would think, oh, what in the world is the capital of Portugal? But one can't be having fun all the time, she continued, bending over and standing on her hands for a change. For that matter, I've been in Lisbon with my papa, she added, still standing upside down, for she could talk upside down and right ways up. But then one of the policemen said that Pippi certainly didn't need to think that she could do just as she pleased. She must come to the children's home, and immediately. He went up to her and took hold of her arm, but Pippi freed herself quickly, turned around and went, "Tag!" and tagged the policeman on the shoulder. And before he could wink an eye, she had climbed up on the porch railing, and from there on to the balcony, and from there on to the roof, and the policeman couldn't quite catch her in time. They had no idea how to get up there to catch Pippi, so they rushed into the house and up the stairs. And by the time they had reached the balcony, Pippi was even further up the roof. She climbed up the shingles almost as if she were Mr. Nielsen herself, and in a moment she was up on the ridgepole, and from there she jumped onto the chimney. Woo! Nearly lost my Christmas cactus. How about we take off this Christmas cactus? Oh, that's much better. Okay, I'm going to hold the pineapple Christmas cactus here while I read the story. How about that? No, even better. Let's put it here. Add it to the paraphernalia going on in the background. There. Pineapple, pineapple, pineapple. Oh, even better. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Oh, this shirt. Okay, let's turn that bit. Instant pineapple. Oh, I'm having too much fun. Oh, I hope a policeman doesn't knock on my door and tell me I have to calm down. Okay, where were we? Okay, so there she is on top of the chimney. So, and the policemen were standing on the balcony, scratching their heads. And on the lawn stood Tommy and Annika staring up at Pippi. Isn't it fun to play tag? She called down. Oh, golly, policeman, you were so nice to come over and play tag with me. It certainly is my lucky day. And after the policeman had stood there a while, wondering what to do, they went and got a ladder. And they leaned it against one of the gables of the house and then climbed up. First one policeman, then another, trying to climb to get Pippi down. They looked a little scared when they climbed out onto the ridgepole. Ooh, balance, balance, balance. And carefully tiptoed towards Pippi, who now was looking down on them from the chimney. And she called, don't be scared. It's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just for fun. When the policemen were a few steps away from Pippi, down she jumped from the chimney and screeching and laughing ran all along the ridgepole to the opposite gable a few feet from... Oh, I lost my place. I've lost my glove. Just a second. Lost my glove. Got the glove. There she is on the chimney. Now she's on the roof. Now she's running along. And there at the end of the roof is a tree. She's really good at this game. So she called over to the policeman. Have fun up there on the ridgepole of the roof because I'm going diving. She jumped off the roof into the tree. Now, I really do not ever recommend that you do that. I know that you're smart enough not to do that. Pippi can do that because it's Pippi. Don't be doing that at home. No. Just do like the small little shrubs. Shrub foraging. That's good. Not from trees. So now I'm going to dive, she shouted, and she jumped right into the crown of the tree. She caught hold of a branch, swung back and forth, and then she let herself down to the ground, gently. And quick as a wink, she dashed around to the other side of the house, and she took away the ladder. So now the police are stuck on the roof. They have no way of getting down because Pippi has taken the ladder away. And now she's down and they are up. Who do you know who could get policemen onto a roof like that? The policeman had looked a little foolish when Pippi jumped, but they looked even more so when they had balanced themselves backwards on the ridgepole and were about to climb down the ladder, and now the ladder wasn't there. Oh, poor policemen. I'm sure they did not set out to have a day like that. I'm sure they thought they would just go and have a little word with a child at Villa Vellicula, and very happily, they would take her very happily and get her all cozy in the children's home. They got a bigger day than they bargained for. So what happens next? Well, at first they were angry at Pippi because she stood on the ground with her hands on her hips, looking up at them, and they told her in no uncertain terms, "You need to put that ladder back." And Pippi said, why are you so cross? And they said, "We are not playing games with you. You need to put that ladder back." And Pippi said, "Well, I thought we were playing tag. And now it's a really good challenge for you to have to figure out how to get off the roof and tag me, because that's the game of tag." And the policeman thought for a while, and then at last one of them said, "Oh, come on, please put the ladder back." "Okay, of course I will," said Pippi, and she put the ladder back instantly. "And when you come down, why don't we all sit down here with my heart-shaped cookies and coffee, and we can have a little picnic with Tommy and Annika?" But the policemen, they were really not there to play any games. And they were certainly being tricky themselves, because the minute they were down on the ground, they grabbed Pippi by the arms. And Pippi said, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm wriggling out of this one. You are tricky tag players, you two." And she wriggled out of their arms, and she said, "I haven't time to play any longer, but thank you very much. It was very fun." Then, remember how strong she is? She picked up the policemen by the belts of their suits, and she carried them down the garden path. Out into the street. And there, plop, she plopped the policeman down on the street. And it was quite some time before they were ready to get up again. "Oh, just 1 minute," said Pippi. "Just 1 minute. Stay there, policeman. Thank you for dropping by. I just have something to give you." And she ran up the garden path and came back with 2 of her heart-shaped cookies. And she said, "There you are. Thank you for dropping over and playing tag with me. I won't be needing to go to any children's home. I'm perfectly happy here, but thank you very much for your consideration. And you can please let the ladies and gentlemen know of the town that I am very capable of looking after myself. I always come up on top, right, Mum? And right, my Dad, on Cannibal Island." The policemen scratched their head and looked at each other, took a bite of their heart-shaped biscuits, stood up, dusted themselves off, and went back into town. Pippi turned around, and there were Tommy and Annika standing there, wide-eyed. They'd never seen anything like it. The policeman hurried back to town and told all the ladies and gentlemen that Pippi wasn't quite fit for a children's home. Well, they didn't tell her that they'd been up on the roof and played tag or any of those things. And the ladies and the gentlemen decided that it would be best after all to let Pippi stay at Villa Vellicula, and if she wanted to go to school, she could make arrangements all by herself. But Pippi and Annika had a very pleasant afternoon after that. They went back to their interrupted coffee party, maybe tea. I think if we were there, we might have tea. And Pippi stuffed herself with 14, yeah, it says 14, of her little heart-shaped cookies. They must have been so delicious. And well, she said, they weren't what I mean by real policemen. No siree, there was altogether far too much talk about children's homes and pluffication tables and, well, Lisbon. When Tommy and Annika had gone to bed that night, Tommy said, "Annika, don't you think it's good that Pippi moved here?" "Oh, yes," said Annika. "I don't even remember what we used to play before she came." "Well," said Tommy, "we used to play, croquet and dominoes, and sometimes we would play ball. But it's lots more fun when Pippi's around. I can't remember a time that we had such fun, and you never know what's going to happen next." That's where I'm going to end today. And thank you so much for being here today. and in our pineapple episode. And please remember your daydream wishes. Have a little time every day to have a little dream and a little rest. And I look forward to seeing you in the nest next time. Okay, bye. Bye, 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 bye.